So in that earlier update video, I talked about a teak floor, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So this is a Continental, and it didn't come from Chris Craft, the factory, with a teak floor. The Holidays came with the teak floor, but this boat did not. And the owner wanted me to put a teak floor in it. So that's what we did. The teak floor is Burmese teak. And it's the real deal. It's great stuff. It's very expensive, but really cool stuff. The underlayment, what we put down first, is plywood. We just put regular plywood down and painted the back side of it. And then what we did is we cut all the teak into strips. So what we did is we took a piece of 5/4 teak and we ripped it down into kind of the shape we wanted, and then we resawed it in half, so we got 2 pieces. And the reason we did that is because of less waste. We wanted to use as much teak as possible without wasting any, because it's so expensive. So it really makes sure when you cut it that you cut it properly to get the most out of it that you can. And you want, say the plank is this way, you want this. You don't want to cut it all down this way, because that'll give you the wrong grain to look at when it's laid down on the floor. So really good idea, just to make sure you get your cuts right and get all the blanks made. Then what we did is we routed this edge about halfway down, about 1/8 inch, and that way when you put 2 together you have a seam, and that basically makes up the teak floor. So for the main floor right here, we made into 4 pieces. 2 on the sides, and then we have 2 places in the center. Then we cut out hatches for one so you could get to your stuffing box and adjust that, make sure it's not leaking. Also one for the battery underneath the second seat. This boat has 3 seats in it, so there's a seat here, there's a 3/4 seat here, and then there's one in the back. So we had to have access to the battery. We did move the battery a little bit and then make a surround so it holds the battery really nice, but we had to drop that down as low as possible so we can get the hatch back on there so it wouldn't hit the hatch. What we did in the center is the seams, we can't put it all in one piece, so we made it so the 2 pieces on the side and then that center piece came down, and we made it so the seam came right in where we needed it. So it looks like one piece. We then screwed that down, that there was one seam that was not filled yet on both sides of it, and so we taped that and then we caulked that, and then it'll look like one piece after that. So, and that's pretty much the way Chris Craft did it. So it came out really good. I mean, it's a beautiful floor and it's going to last him forever. So it's a pretty good addition to the boat. So not only did we have to break the seams up a little bit, as you can see, because we couldn't get pieces that were 20 feet long. So there is going to be seams going this way. And what we also did is we glued it down to the plywood. Teak has natural oils in it, and that's why it's got great rot properties. They use it on decks of sailboats and cruisers because it's, one, naturally a non-skid when it gets wet, and two, it has oils and nutrients in it that won't rot. So make sure that you wipe that down with acetone, and then take some epoxy and put a little 404 filler in it, micro balloons, and trowel that on there, and then bed that teak down on the plywood, and it'll never go anywhere. You won't get moisture underneath it. It'll last a long, long time. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If you're doing a project like this, it came out great. I mean, it's a beautiful floor. The boat's going to be awesome. So hopefully the customer is very happy. Thanks for tuning in, and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to support the channel financially, then there's the Patreon account. And thank you so much to all my Patreon supporters. Stay tuned. We're going to put out another video here real soon. It's going to be a shop tour, see what's happening in the shop. The Sportsman is coming along awesome. We're getting ready to paint the tail on the Cobra, and we're going to receive the new engine this week for the hydroplane, the Chris Craft Barrelback Hydro. So we're going to do a whole video on just the engine and painting engines and stuff. So stay tuned for that. We will see you back here. Bye.